Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this lab, we're going to do some hands-on with placement groups. So if you go on the left-hand side down to on the networking and security down here at the security group elastic IP address, you have placement group. So you will go and click here. And as you can see, it says here to create a placement group. Now, by the way, before we even bother to do that, why don't we just go ahead and Google what is a placement group in AWS? So placement group, Amazon Elastic Cloud Compute, the EC2. So, okay, so now let's just read the short description here. So placement group help us to launch a bunch of EC2 instances close to each other, physically within the same availability zone. So being close physically and within the same AZ helps it take advantage of high-speed connectivity to provide low latency, high throughput access. So let's click here. So placement group. So when you launch a new EC2 instance, the EC2 service attempts to place the instance in such a way that all of your instances are spread out across underlying hardware to minimize correlated failure. You can use placement group to influence the placement of a group of interdependent instances to meet the needs of your workloads. So depending on type of workload, you can create a placement group using a following placement strategy. So we have, first of all, cluster. So cluster packs instances close together inside an availability zone. This strategy enables workload to achieve a low latency network performance necessary for tightly coupled node-to-node community that is typically of high performance computing HPC application. So the second option that we have is partition. So partition, it spreads your instance across logical partitions such that groups of instances in one partition do not share the underlying hardware with groups of instances in different partitions. This strategy is typically used by large distributed and replicated workloads such as Hadoop, Cassandra, and Kafka. So that was the second option here. Now the third option we have is spread. So spread, so spread strictly place a small group of instances across the stack underlying hardware to reduce correlated failures. So there is no charge for creating a placement group. So this is a very good thing to know. That's a good news. So placement group strategies, you can create a placement group using one of the following placement strategies. Cluster placement group. So a cluster placement group is a logical group of instances within a single availability zone. A cluster placement group can span field virtual private network VPC in the same region. Instead, in the same cluster placement group, enjoy a high per flow throughput limit for TCP IP traffic and are placed in the same high bisection bandwidth segment of the network. So the following image shows instances that are placed into a cluster placement group. I go to the image, and they talk about the partition. So they go the image for the partition, and we have the image for the spread. So I think this is a pretty neat documentation overview about what placement group are. Now, don't worry, I'm going to place a link of this in the bottom of the description page for you, so you can use this if you would like. It show you how to create a placement group from the console itself. If you want to use it with the CLI, they go how to do it. And if you want to use PowerShell, this is how you should follow these instructions and do that. I think this is pretty neat, isn't it? So we're gonna be using the PowerShell. We're gonna be using the portal here and create our placement group. So let's go ahead and call it my dash high, high, and say performance, performance group. Now we're going to place this on the first one, which is cluster, and say create. Now let's click again on placement group, and let's give this a name of my let's make this be my, how about we call it critical group, critical group, and we could make this spread. And now, so this to be distributed as much as possible. So now you see here, it says that spread level determine how placement group spread instance. You can only use the host level placement group to outburst. So if you go down here, you have rack has no restriction, and you have the host outburst only. So I'm gonna leave this by default as it is and create this placement group. Now let's go ahead and create the last one but not least, and we will call this one my distributed group. Now we're gonna take partition. Now with the partition number, we have it's select. You could, if you notice, you will see that it's selected number 2 as default, but it starts from 1 to 7. So how about we choose like 5, and we just create our placement group. So now that the placement group is being created, what we can do is, the way to associate your placement group into the EC2 instance is as follows. So let's say you go down here. Let's say if you would go here and say you want to create a new, launch a new instance. Let's wait for it to display. Now, as this display, as you know, you would have to give your web server a name. You will be pick an image that you want to make that web server with, whether if it's on AWS, Linux, or Mac OS, or Ubuntu, or Windows, or Red Hat, or whatever, SUSE Linux, whatever it is, it don't matter, whatever that meets your need. And you're gonna choose the architecture, whether if it's a 64 or 32 bit that you want this this image to be, what kernel that you want to choose. And as you go down here, you would have to choose whether if it's a free tier, make sure that you get the tier what meets your goal. Whether if you want this to be a big machine or small, whatever gigabit that you want to choose. So it's all up to you. It all depends on your budget. Now you will scroll down as you reach on the network settings. You will set that whether if you want this to be access from HTTP, from SSH traffic, from anywhere or whatever. If you want to create some security group, or if you have some selected security group or whatever that you want to do, you could choose whether if you want to allow port 80 or port 443 traffic, so whatever. So as I'm pretty confident that you should know about these things by now. And if you don't, if you just jump into this video, I would advise you to watch our previous videos because we have demos on creating these things. Okay, so the other thing again is that you could go down here and advanced detail. As you scroll down, you have purchase option, request, for instance, whatever, domain, join, directory. You could create new directory if you want to. You could create an IAM instance, profile or whatever, the host name type. Oh, this already been defaulted, grayed out. So you got instance auto recovery. So you would just scroll down all the way until you see placement. So just a second. So you see, if I'm mistaken. So it should be down here somewhere where it says placement group. Which I'm not seeing it here. Let's see why. Meta select. Maybe this is on the summary or what? Full type. Say file security group, storage volume. So there we go. That's what we've been looking for. So there we go. We have placement group right there. So you would choose which one of those placement group that you want to attach into your. So it's right here. So the placement group, you can select, each one, like which one of those that you want to select. If it's what my critical, distributed, or high performance. So basically, that's how you would attach your placement group into your EC2 machine. So I think that's pretty it. Now again, topic about the placement group is a very interesting topic. So if you want to, I would advise you to check this website and learn more about placement group. You could tell, like, if you notice that, you will see there's a button here right within within the EC2 options to create the machine. If you click here, you could create a placement group right in from there. It would display the same page where we clicked down here to create the placement group. So this is pretty easy, I would say. So just take advantage of that. I appreciate you following along. Stay tuned for another live configuration. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.